Our next guest is no stranger to the orange carpet. Please welcome back mortgage expert Dale Entrekin and his special guest from Whissel Realty, Lindsey Warner.
Here they are. Welcome to the show, guys.
Thank you.
Great to have you both here. Crazy market we're in, huh?
Absolutely.
It's crazy.
Crazy.
I know I was wrong about this market. Okay, I'll admit it.
A lot of people were.
A couple years ago, I said, there's no way. Can't keep going. You know, the median incomes aren't going up. Home values are still going up. And here we are a couple years later, same boat. Maybe actually in a worse boat, smaller boat, for sure. There's a lot less homes for sale
A lot
now.
more crammed in that boat.
Yeah, that boat is crammed. So what can you say about the current state of the market today, Lindsey?
Well, obviously, it's not a surprise that inventory is low. I think if we look at a stat right now, there's just over 2% or two months worth of homes on the market in San Diego, which is low. So
And what that means is if we didn't have any new sellers come on board, in 2 months there would be 0 homes for sale in San Diego. In 2 months. That's it.
Yes.
Okay, sorry, I didn't want to interrupt you. I want to explain that to
No,
people.
thank you for explaining that. So low, and then we have all of these buyers that are trying to purchase a home, and we have way more buyers than we have homes on the market. So it's competitive.
Yeah.
Multiple offers, trying to get creative to get these buyers into these homes.
Dale, that's the thing I think I just didn't see, you know, was how many more people there are who want to be here and buy here than there are homes that are out there.
Well, I was just saying, before we got on the show, we were talking about the statistic that showed that San Diego actually had the biggest drop in any of the cities across the United States in inventory. From 2015 to 2016, 30% drop. And I mean, when you look at that two months inventory, it's not just the fact that the inventory is low and they're all great houses. There's some houses that people don't want to buy. They're overpriced, or they're not in good condition. They need a lot more work than people are willing to put in. And so the homes that people are actually excited about is even fewer than that 2 months.
Right. That's a good point. There's a lot of homes that are on the market but aren't really in the market.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, they're not in the market to sell. They're just on the market hoping they'll get that number.
Yeah.
Exactly.
One day, eventually, the market will get to where they are. So you're absolutely right. That 2 months is actually false. It's too big.
Yeah.
It's smaller than that.
Yeah, when a good place comes on the market, I mean, you've seen it, it's gone. It's on and it's gone. You know, and sometimes it doesn't even hit the market. They're in office, mixing in, getting offers from co-agents in there, and it's definitely it's really competitive.
So we're currently shooting, we're actually just wrapped shooting the first episode of a new reality show called Win This Listing that we're doing. And the homeowners got 2 offers on their property, sight unseen. No marketing at all. Just because they saw that we were there and they asked, "What are you doing?" They found out that they were selling. 2 people made offers.
Yeah, that's
Because they know the market.
Yeah.
I was like, "What is going on? Seriously, it's like that?" So it's almost like it becomes a relationship game again, right? Where it's like you got to know somebody.
Yeah.
You have to be, you have to know people who can be out there looking for you, who can find these opportunities. Because when they come up, all of a sudden, if it hits the MLS, by that time everybody sees it, right?
yeah.
And lots of offers will come in. So what we want to talk about today is how to essentially thrive in a market like that. What tips can we give people in this market to be realistic with themselves, but also to have the best chance to succeed, because there's still lots of people who want to live the American dream, right? They want to buy a home, they want to have a family. There's so many of them, in fact, that we don't have enough homes for them all. So when someone's in that situation, Lindsey, how do you coach them through the process? Like, okay, here's what you're going to get in this market.
Well, great question. I always start with a consultation, and I prep them for this market so that they know what they're getting into and they're not getting frustrated. So they're already prepped up front. But you bring up a great point of knowing someone. So I try to build relationships with every agent I come across, because knowing that listing agent is going to make a big difference. So if I don't know them, I find out if someone in my office knows them, or a lender that I work with, if Dale knows them. And I build rapport with that agent right away so that I can just, paint a picture, let them know who this client is. And that's what I'm telling my client up front. We need to get to know these people, paint a picture. We're going to provide a letter, tell a story, so that we're just not a contract sitting alongside the other 5 contracts that are, sitting on that table.
That's a great point, because I've run into agents that refuse to work with certain agents in the market. Yeah, they're like, I won't even take an offer from them.
Yeah.
Well, can I ask you about what that's like? Is you work for Kyle Whissel, right? Whissel
I do,
Realty.
yes.
So he's pretty well known around town. You guys do a lot of business. Does that give you an advantage in a situation like this?
I think so. A lot of people know who we are, but I come across people every day that have never heard of us as well. I mean, we are a boutique. We're not Keller Williams or Century 21, even though we do quite a bit of business. But I'm still out there building relationships with new people every day.
That's interesting. So when you meet an agent who hasn't heard of Whissel Realty, you're like, huh.
Where you been?
What's that
Exactly.
emoji? That emoji face of the guy who's like this?
Yeah.
Right.
It's my favorite one. I use it all the time.
Yeah, that's a good one. That tells
okay.
that tells a lot when you're texting somebody.
Right.
Yeah, right.
But that when you hear somebody that doesn't know, I feel like, where you been?
Exactly.
Have you been in the market? You've been in the business the last few years?
It's good for you to know, though. That tells you something.
It does. It tells me, and exactly.
That tells you all you need to know. So let's talk about how the role that lending plays. I want to hear from your perspective, because you like to work with Dale. I know a lot of people like to work with Dale. He's very, very good at what he does. I mean, how much does that help you and your buyers in a market like today?
Oh, I can't even say enough about Dale. It makes
That's
a
why
huge.
on here.
It makes a huge difference. I know that when my client goes to see Dale, I know that we're going to get to the finish line. And I can't tell you how many times a client will come to me with another lender that I've never worked with, and we just hit roadblock after roadblock. And it's frustrating for them. Most importantly, it's frustrating for me. And with Dale and his team and his underwriters are amazing. You know that they're qualified, and especially with the new laws and TRID, we're seeing delays, and somehow they're tackling those delays, and it looks good on those listing agents that we're working with. So when we're going into this competitive market, I then have a reputation there that my transactions are actually going all the way to close.
Quick shout out to Whissel Cater, who is responsible for those quick turn times, right? Running the operations.
Awesome.
And
Synergy has done an excellent job. I mean, they're local, right here in town. It's not like an underwriter's across the country somewhere that I have to wait for a call back. I can get a hold of them really quickly. We can get things done. I just even commented on a Facebook post just recently. I got an approval on a Saturday night at like 9:30 or 10 o'clock at night, and I was like,
What?
Yeah, out of the blue. It just came in my email, and it was just shocking to me that somebody's processing or underwriting loans at 9:30 or 10 o'clock on a Saturday, but they're doing it willingly. These underwriters are just really, really just awesome with customer service.
Yeah, no, Synergy One Lending, one of the best lending platforms in all of San Diego, no question about that. But also, it doesn't just take a great lending platform, right? You got to have a great loan officer who knows how to work it. So Dale, when you're dealing with these people, right up front, okay, we got to get the paperwork in, we got to move quickly because I got to have my ducks in a row.
Yeah.
So when you go out there, we can knock it down. What are some of the things that people who are looking to buy right now, and there's a lot of people who are going to be doing that in the next coming months, what should they get ready? What should they start thinking about so that they can be ready to go?
Well, what we try to do is try to initially get a pre-approval in place. And more than just hey, let me just fill out an application and call it a day, but get through the tax returns, get through the pay stubs, get through some of the credit history so we can understand, like, if you're thinking of buying in 3 months, you may have some credit things that you need to clear up to get to that loan program you want to do. Because there's some loan programs that are very credit score driven, and there's some that aren't. And there's some that, don't need as much down payment as others. And so you want to make sure that you have all your ducks in a row and understand what kind of financing you're doing and why you're doing it. And that's what we try to take care of up front and help the buyer understand, okay, if you put 5% down versus 3% down, you have this much out of pocket and this payment, and so you try to inform them and educate so that they're ready to buy, and that when they're making an offer, they know, I can close on this. This is what I'm going to be out of pocket, and at the end of the day, then they're happy all the way through the transaction.
They know how much money they need to have set aside. They know not to go get a brand new car.
Yeah, know not to go get put cash deposits in their account, things that are like give them more hurdles along the way.
Yeah.
So we're trying to make it so it's an easier process, so we can get all the paperwork up front, and that's not always the case. Sometimes you can't get everything up front from somebody. It takes time, and they're wanting to make an offer today, and you have to. And so it's all about trying to educate and help them understand the process, though, and get them in a position where if they're looking and they think, well, I don't really want to pay over this price, understand how much each $1,000 is cost to you finance. So they understand, like, if you miss a house by $1,000, you're not going to notice that $1,000 10 years from now.
Yeah, 7 cents a month.
It's like $6.
Yeah.
And so what people, it's trying to help them understand, don't necessarily think about digging your heels in on that $1,000. Get the house that you want at the time you want at the rate you want.
Yeah. Yeah. At the end of the day, you're going to live there with your family. It's too important. Thank you guys so much for coming in today, sharing your wisdom with us. Really appreciate your time. Thank you so much.
Yep.
If you're looking to buy a home in San Diego, you can't go wrong with this team here. These two are just fantastic. Stick around for more Smarter San Diego TV, where we guarantee to make you smarter than everyone else, commercial free.
I got.
No.
And I said,
So
well,
is this something
because
that
he came in person.
is
He walked
just
in.
for people in
So
the military that get PTSD?
At that
is this
point
something that
in
is
time,
more widespread than that?
2011 is when I started kind
Actually,
of
it's
developing
more
the
widespread
system,
than that.
How to get
What
your offer accepted without paying the most
PTSD
amount of
is
money.
when
And
somebody
long
is
story short,
actually
secret number
trapped.
one